Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Matt Modi here with OddsJam, and in this video, I'm just giving you my favorite anytime touchdown score bets for Saturday of this week's NFL action. So we got Saturday, December 17th. We got 3 games going on Saturday, so I'm just here to give you my favorite touchdown bets for these for this slate of games. So first up, we have Colts versus Vikings. The Vikings are a 10-3 team that have a negative point differential. 9 of their 10 wins have been by 1 score. All 3 of their losses have been by 1 score. The Colts are losers of 3 straight. They had a pretty good start under head coach Jeff Saturday. They beat the Raiders. The following week, they really should have beat the Eagles, blew it in the fourth quarter. Since then, 2 ugly losses, including a 54-19 demolition of the Cowboys by the Cowboys last time they played. So what will probably happen in this game? The Vikings will probably win. They'll probably win by 1 score. Maybe 7 points to cover the spread. But regardless, I'm pulling up the odds for the anytime touchdown score market. You can browse these odds for completely free on OddsJam if you are so inclined. Just go to sports, NFL, and then choose the games that you were looking for. For me, I have obviously the 3 for Saturday. And then in terms of the drop down, you just click this drop down here. You can either type it in, anytime touchdown score, or you can just look for it at the very bottom. But regardless, we can get into it. When you are placing these anytime touchdown score bets, the first thing you want to do, of course, is look for value. You want to look for an example where you're getting a pretty good value on a play, meaning you're getting a pretty good odd difference from the rest of the betting markets. And the play that I have locked in, it's going to sound chalky, but it actually is still a really good play, is Justin Jefferson to score at minus 115 odds. So I don't need to go into how good Justin Jefferson is. Last week, he had 9 receptions, I believe, or 11 for 223 yards. No touchdowns, though. No touchdowns. But prior to that, he had scored in 4 of 5 games. Just an absolute stud. Obviously, I don't love the minus money on this one for these touchdown score bets. I normally try to find one where you can get plus money. But I do think that this minus 115 is such a good value that I'm willing to accept the minus money on this one. Caesars is giving it to you at minus 115. FanDuel down at minus 130 along with PointsBet. Then we have BetMGM and DraftKings down even lower at minus 155. So all in all, this minus 115 actually is a pretty good price. The average odds, which is what this second column is here, has this at minus 135. Again, we are getting it at minus 115. Pretty good play here. So that is my favorite play for this Colts-Vikings game, Justin Jefferson. I don't hate it if you want to parlay Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. Obviously, if you parlay them two together on Caesars, you'll get a pretty good price. You'll get that for plus money. Dalvin Cook, I mean, my logic is if it's not one, it's probably going to be the other, or it's very likely that it could be both. So if you want to parlay Cook and Jefferson together, I don't think that's horrible. But for this video, and my official bet is going to be Justin Jefferson at minus 115. So this Ravens-Browns game, I will admit that I had trouble looking at this game as well as the Dolphins-Bills one for different reasons, but still had trouble. The Ravens, because they could be on their 3rd string quarterback. 2 weeks ago, Lamar Jackson got hurt. He hurt his knee, has yet to return to practice. Last week, filling in for Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley had suffered a concussion. So with the new concussion protocol after the scary stuff that went down with Tua, it's unlikely he'll be able to make the 6-day turnaround because this game is being played on Saturday, a day early. So I'm going into this assuming that the Ravens are going to be on their 3rd string quarterback. And as good as the Ravens have been mostly this year, not a lot of teams are the 49ers and can withstand losing their top 2 quarterbacks. And the Ravens did it in back-to-back weeks. So I don't have a lot of faith in many of the Ravens players, but who I do have faith in is, if I can find him, is Nick Chubb. So you are getting him at plus money, which I think is really, really good value. Because look at the rest of the markets, right? PointsBet is giving it to you at plus 105. FanDuel at plus 100. And then we have minus 130 from Caesars and DraftKings and minus 140 at BetMGM. Now, I will admit the risk associated with this one. Chubb hasn't scored, I believe, in 3 of 4 games. He also hasn't gone over 100 rushing yards in 3 of 4 games as well. And this is after just a scorching start to the year where he scored, I think he had over 100 yards in the 4 of the first 5 games of the year and a combined 7 touchdowns. So he's definitely dropped off the map, but in a game that's expected to be a little bit lower scoring, where the Browns probably, the guess here is, aren't going to have to, they're not going to have to get out of their run game at any point in this game because the Ravens are going to have trouble scoring. So I think they're going to lean heavily on Nick Chubb. Obviously, Deshaun Watson has been extremely rusty in his return to play. So no easier way to ease in a quarterback than with the run game. And the fact that we're getting it at plus 105 when 3 of the 4 books have it minus 130, minus 130, and minus 140 is a really, really good price. So this is going to be my favorite play in the Ravens-Browns game. And then the Bills-Dolphins. This is a home game for Buffalo. I mentioned having trouble coming up with an anytime touchdown scorer in this one. The reason why is because of the weather. It's supposed to be, last I checked, a blizzard is expected to hit Buffalo during this game. It's also supposed to be extremely cold. And we know cold weather, snow generally leads to lower scoring. It also, it hurts the passing game. And these two teams are extremely pass heavy. The Dolphins with Tua, the Bills with Josh Allen. So to me, it feels like a game they're going to rely on the ground game more than normal. And that favors the Bills. The Bills, despite the injuries that they've suffered, still have the 3rd best run defense in the entire NFL, according to DVOA. So I don't expect the Dolphins to have much success, but the Dolphins are not as stout on defense as the Bills are. So I think that the Bills could have some success. Singletary, even with the trade for Nyheim Hines, has been pretty good all year for the Bills, consistently getting 70-75% of the snaps. And we're getting a pretty good price on him as well, plus 175 at BetMGM. Caesars is kind of close. Not Caesars. FanDuel is a little bit closer at plus 170, only 5 cents off. DraftKings is 15 cents off. And then we have PointsBet, 20 cents different. Caesars, 45 cents different than the BetMGM line. So I do think that this is a really good play. But I will admit that it is tough to handicap this one because of the weather. But I do think Singletary is a good bet. And if you want something a little more of a value play, James Cook, I think in terms of just the ground game as a pure runner, I think James Cook is probably better as a pure runner than Devin Singletary. I'm not sure the Bills trust him quite yet. He's had a little bit of fumbling issues, propped its head up in week 1. And I always fumbled at least once after that. So I'm not sure they fully trust him. I do think in terms of pure talent as a pure running back, he's probably better, but I'm not sure that they'll trust him in a weird weather game. But if you did like him at plus 230, a little bit more of a value play. But that's going to be it. So a couple touchdown score bets for you guys to lock in. If you're hitting any of these, comment and let me know. I would love to hear it. And that's it. So enjoy the NFL games on Saturday. Happy betting, happy watching, and good luck.